Hey guys, it's Piff and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a post tutorial. It's not like a whole real YouTuber out here, and because I agreed to do it, and I talk too fast and end up messing stuff up for myself. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off the tutorial by actually showing you. It's gonna be 2-in-1 tutorials. I'm going to show you how to do the sim ripper. So I already exported my sim from SimRipper, and I even explained that in my tutorial on my actual Tumblr. If you don't follow me, how did you find this video? But unimportant. I'm gonna show you how to import your sim from SimRipper, not take it out of SimRipper, but put it into Blender because it's simple, and I feel like I shouldn't. You should know how to do it. I shouldn't need to tell you. You know. I'm not gonna waste time. Let's hop into it. So I have my empty rig. I'm going to go to File and then Import and then Collada. I think it's called Collada or it's called Collada. Who cares? The DAE file, and then we're gonna go to wherever you save the mice is in this folder. And we're gonna import Aaliyah, and Aaliyah should come up like this. Boring. Ugh. Disgusting. Now we're going to go to the rig and we're going to hit delete. Not delete hierarchy, because if you delete the hierarchy, it's going to also delete the object, your sim. Hit delete and it should end up with 2 object files. Just Aaliyah, and then the glass is just usually her eyelashes, and if she's wearing any transparent clothing. Or if you have like a sim with alpha hair, their hair would be under glass, not deleted. So I'm going to show you how to do this 2 different ways. I'm going to do it the regular way first, which is without being in cycles, and then in cycles. Because I usually, now that I do renders, I'm almost always in cycles, even if I'm making poses. So I'm going to show you how to do it without being in the cycles, while also having your alpha glass textures as textures. So we're going to go to our first object, which is just our sim without the glass. And we're going to go to into a circle, there's materials tab, make a new material. I'm gonna name this one Leah Tut. I'm gonna copy that so I can rename her texture, the same thing. So we're gonna go all the way down to transparency. We're gonna click it off. We're gonna make alpha 0. And I'm gonna show you why we're doing that in a second. I'm gonna go to glass and make sure this is on the same thing. So boom, Aaliyah Tut. I put Hut. Let's fix that real quick. Oh wait, no, her last name is actually with it. I did it right. I'm being weird. So we're gonna go to texture. We're gonna add a new texture, and we're gonna click on alpha and make sure it's at 1. And we're gonna go to image, open image. It should be in your tutorial. It should be in your file, and just like that, now your sim should be there. I'm gonna rename this to Leah Hut, and yeah, we hit 1. And if you go to, let's pull this up real quick. And if you go to rendered, it should look like this. I hate Blender render. It looks so fugly. But you get the gist. I'm not gonna let it keep going because it's gonna end up messing up my computer. So boom. And we go here, and it should, boom. It looks ugly now, but when you render it, it's gonna look nice. So that is just with regular Blender render without going into cycles, and now we're gonna go into cycles. So we're gonna click right here at the very top and click cycles render, and it's gonna do this. Because the way cycles renders textures is completely different from how Blender renders textures. So it's gonna look different. So we're going to open this, and it's gonna look like this. You're gonna wonder where your fucking picture went. Don't worry, we're going to get it back. You're gonna hit use nodes, and what I'm actually going to do is, let me show you. So you're gonna hit use nodes, and I'm going to find these little lines right here, and then pull up. It's gonna create another window. Then I'm gonna click right here and go to node editor, and this is gonna pop up because we're on Aaliyah's material, and the node editor edits materials, the world material, the world texture and everything. That way you can have like a whole bunch of them, and you can get really crazy with them, and I'm not going to do all that because I'm one person. So we can either go over here, or we can go over here. This over here is sorry. Over here is simpler. So we're going to hit this little circle right here, and go to image texture, and then find our image texture, which is Aaliyah Hood. Boom. And you're gonna notice that the eyelashes look fugly AF. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that. So we're gonna go to Aaliyah Glass, and then we're going to hold down Shift and press the triangle. The plus sign. And it's gonna duplicate this. We're just gonna rename this to, fuck it. We're gonna rename this to Glass at the end, that way we know. So now we're gonna hit Add Shader, and then we're gonna find the Transparent shader, and just put that on top of the diffuse BSDF shader. Don't touch anything. Don't attach the transparent shader to anything just yet. Then we're gonna hit Add, and then we're gonna go to Shader, and then we're gonna find Mix shader. Pull this down and put alpha to the FAC, and then I don't know what that stands for. I'm gonna be frank. And then we're gonna pull this down to the shader and gonna push it down. And now it's gonna be transparent, kind of. Now let me go here and click on render. It's gonna look perfect. Boom, amazing, done. We finished it, you and I. Now that's the sim ripper. That's like the first part of the sim ripper. That's how you get it into Blender. And now we're going to attach both of them to the rig. So we're gonna click on Aaliyah and go to the modifier tab, and this should still be here. Unless you have touched something, that should still be there. And click object and then go to rig. And as you see, it immediately attached like it's supposed to. And Aaliyah Glass, I'm gonna do the same. And now we're going to pull this into the rig like that, and hit object, and then like that, and hit object. And now it's clean, And now we're going to close this window by pulling down like this. And opening up the rig again and making these unselectable. That way as you're posing, you won't accidentally like click on the body itself, though. It just saves time. Okay, so actually, fun fact, I have my notebook next to me, and I have a list of events I need to complete for this tutorial, because I told you guys that I was gonna ramble if I didn't have them, so. My hair is a mess, so don't ignore it. So now on to the next part of the actual tutorial. We're gonna start off with keyboard shortcuts. Now I made a list that I'm gonna put on my actual blog for you to see. And it basically just lets you know like what you can and can't do. So we have Aaliyah here. And we're gonna click on, let's click on this finger. This might be better. This is index 1, which is like this knuckle right here. So we are going to, I'm going to show you how I go about, this is how I remember my keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to hit R is to rotate, and then G is to grab. Ooh, I hate that. G is to grab. So the way you remember it is because R for rotate, G for grab. It's so simple. I don't need to explain it to you, obviously. Now, those are the main ones you're going to be using. There's also scale, which you probably will not be using. And I highly recommend that you don't scale anything in Blender on your posing rig, because it's not going to translate to the game. When you finish making a pose, you're not, it doesn't, yeah, those are the main keyboard shortcuts you're going to be using. Now, I also want to talk about the X, Y, and Z axis, and I think the best way to show you that is to add a plane. So let's go to object mode and then add mesh plane. So let's hit 7. 7 is top view. Oh crap! quickly, before I show you the axes, I just turned off my wireless keyboard. So if you have a big keyboard, and even my laptop has the same type of keyboard as this, you're going to have a number pad. Now, the number pad helps you turn the camera without moving your mouse. So, for instance, the 5 lets you go from ortho view, lets you go from perspective view to ortho view. Let me show you what that looks like very quick. Turn this back on. Wait, there you go, I hit 5. That's perspective view, that's ortho view. I highly recommend when you're posing to use ortho view, that way you can see everything. Because perspective view isn't as accurate as you think it is. 5 is ortho view. Let me turn it back on so you can see. Let's hit, so 1 is front view, 3 is right view, control 3 is left view, Control 1 is back view, 7 is top view, and Control 7 is bottom view. So let's say you hit 1, which is front view. If you hit 4, it will rotate it to the left, and 6 rotate to the right, and then 8 rotate you up, and 2 rotate you down. Okay, there you go. Now, if you do not have a keyboard with these types of keys on them, don't fret. If you go to File, User Preferences, and then we're gonna let this load. Cool. And you go to Input. If you look on Input, there will be an Emulate Keypad checkbox under double click. And what that will do is it will enable your keys at the top of your keyboard to pretend to be your keypad. So everything I showed you on the keypad, on the number pad, will translate over here if you have that option ticked. That way you don't need this. It's simply, if you do have it, it makes it easier. But don't worry if you don't. This isn't like it's a very amazing program because it kind of like, it adapts to you. So I rotate my viewport with my middle mouse key. Not every keyboard has this. So, I mean, not every mouse has a middle mouse because some of them just don't, or you're using a trackpad. And I'm not sure if you saw it already, but if you go to user preferences again, you can also emulate the 3 mouse button by holding Alt and the left mouse button. Fun fact. Also, I think you may have saw me just do it. I just did it again. If you hit Shift while holding down the mouse key, holding down the middle mouse, you can move it. You can pan the camera. If you hold Control, it zooms in and out. And I think if you hold Control, it scrolls from left to right, and Shift scrolls up and down. If you hold Shift and Control, it rotates it. Now back onto the axes. So we have, let's hit 7 right quick. So the y-axis is front to back. The x-axis is left to right, and let's hit 1. And the z-axis is up and down. Now, if you were to rotate on the axis, the z, x, and y axis is locked to the letter key on your keyboard for each letter of each axis. I am so sorry. I am half awake. This is editing piff, BT dubs. And I'm half a fucking awake right now. While I'm trying to edit this fucking video. Hit Z, it would do that. So, be aware. Oh, fuck. Be aware. Also, that's for the world view axes. So the world view is, your working space. This is Z according to your working space, according to the world in Blender. However, for instance, let's re-click on her finger so I can show you even better on the actual sim. So you hit R and Z, or rotate it by the world axes. So I'm going to rotate it like that. Oh wait, let me take off this constraint right quick. So R, Z, rotate it like that. Disgusting, inaccurate. But, if you rotate it by the local axes, meaning if you hit R and then Z twice, that's 3 times, twice, it will rotate it by its local axis, what is up and down according to that joint. And so it will rotate up and down. Magic is what it is. And let's redo this. So yeah, fun fact. Yes, and obviously the grab axis and the rotate axis is it's the same type, it's the same axis, it just works different. So if I were to rotate it by the Z axis, oh crap, it will go up and down. If I were to grab it by the Z axis, it would go front and back. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You also just saw me do this, but if you hit R twice, it enables free rotation. So you see, look at that. You see that? You see it? It's different. It's different. It's built different than the regular one. Now, I'm going to teach you about the next thing on my list. And that is, what is it? Is inverse kinematics. Inverse kinematics, the best way I can describe it is when you move a joint in your body, you're not moving it from the parent joint. You're moving it from this one, and everything else just kind of follows. Again, editing Piff has to fix what recording Piff did wrong. So, what I mean by parent joint is, say you want to put your hand on your hip, you aren't going to move your shoulder, then your elbow, then your hand, then your fingers. What you are going to do is move your hand, and the rest of your bones that your hand is linked to are just going to follow. And inverse kinematics allows you to more accurately and realistically move joints / bones to create more realistic poses. Boom! So we have Aaliyah's index 1, and you see the IK kinematics there. If you want to add it yourself, you go to add bone constraint, which looks like this, and you go here and go to tracking, inverse kinematics. So we have this. Now I don't touch anything else. I don't touch anything else. I just make sure that the chain length is correct and that the influence isn't too high, because if you hit 1, it's going to move very fast. Whereas if you make it 0.5, it goes a little bit slower, and 2.50 is the ideal one because it goes super slow and it's like less room for error. So we hit 1 and we're going to rotate it like that. Do you see how much faster that would have been? That is. So let me show you what it would be if I didn't rotate it like that. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit RXX, and then RXX, and then RXX again. You just see how much work that is compared to just pulling that finger all the way down. Okay. Another keyboard shortcut. I meant to do this all at one time, but my brain doesn't work like that. So let's say you've rotated a bunch of joints. Let me show you. RZ, okay. And now you're like, oh crap, I didn't want to rotate it that way. What you just do is you select all the joints. You can either hit B, which is box select, which is that, or you click, or you hit the C key, and it goes in that circle select and draw select. Now if you hit Alt R, it resets the rotation, and if you hit Alt S, it resets the scale, and Alt G resets the grab or the transformation. So, see, for the head, I have a problem with. I have a problem with making my Sims look natural when they sit, because I just have them sit like this, which is unnatural, and my back is hurting just from that. So, what I do is I make a inverse kinematics constraint and click. Okay, it's on 50. So you go G and you just slightly go forward and kind of curl like that. It's so great. And as you see, each of these is rotated. And just boom. Magic, bitch. Magic. I meant not to cuss. Now on to the next thing, which is constraints. I showed you the first constraint, which was inverse kinematics, but there's a lot of them. What I normally utilize is limit rotation, limit transformation, and copy rotation. And I do that. I limit rotation on the hand joint. So hand, forearm, shoulder, legs, thighs, calves, feet, toes, and some of the fingers, and just so that way I don't accidentally go too far with the rotation. It's making my Sims look unnatural, and it gives me some hot fish sometimes, and that's why it's great that you can adjust these settings at any time. That way you don't have to you're not locked into anything. Yeah, that was constraints. I also use a copy of rotation on the forearm twist. Now this joint is actually invisible. I had to go through basically all through here, and what it does is it makes it look more natural when you rotate the hand. Normally it wouldn't move on your sim because that joint isn't available, or it is hidden, so you don't even know it's there to move. And so what I do is when I rotate the hand, this part, this joint also rotates, so it looks more natural. So if my sims have tattoos or freckles or blemishes on this part of their body, it rotates with the hand. Yeah, that's it with constraints. Now we are going to do some facial poses because I got a request on Tumblr. I'm gonna put up somewhere on the screen if I remember to do so. If I don't be mad. I just forgot. I have this program on my computer called PureRef, and it allows pictures to stay up on your screen while you work on other stuff. So it's called PureRef, and I just have this one picture up because we're going to really quickly make this facial expression. So we're going to right click on here and click mode, always on top, and we're going to zoom into Leah's face. It feels like she's rotated just slightly. And she was. Okay, great. So I'm going to make her eyelashes invisible because I need to see. Let's go. So when you're making faces, the most important parts of your face are usually your eyebrows and your lips and sometimes your eyes, because it kind of like shapes, it shows your expression the best. It's hot as hell in my room. My fan's on like the lowest setting because I want you guys to be able to hear me, and now I'm recording it, so hope you enjoy it. So we're gonna make this face, and we're going to pull down the mid brow. You kind of have to just guess where these things would be, like where the joints would be on your sim. I mean, on the picture. Like, I can explain it. Let's just do it. So we're gonna bring this joint down by hitting X twice. I'm gonna bring this up by hitting X twice, and bring this down as well. And we want to pull this up. So we're gonna hit. You got it. Thank you. X twice. X twice. And already, all fucking ready. Confusion. Amazing. Intrigue. This is the shit I do in my room by myself, so don't fucking judge me. I'm gonna hit R and then Z twice to rotate it down. And we're gonna hit R. And for both bottom lids, I'm gonna hit R and Z twice. Rotate it up. And then we're going to hit C, which is circle select, and get these two joints, which are the squint ones, the squint joints, and hit B and X twice, and G and X twice. We're gonna go up. And very quickly, I'm gonna show you something else that's important. Right down here, usually this is called the pivot point. Usually pivot point is between the median point, or like the point in the middle of two objects. So let's say I was rotating. I can't see if you can see, so fingers crossed you can see. So like say you're rotating the eyes, and the median point would be right here. And so the eyes will rotate out of the fucking skull because it will rotate as if this is where they're supposed to be rotating against. I hope that makes sense. Let me show you actually. Let me show you. Not with the eyes, because eye horror makes me uncomfortable. So we're going to do it with these, and we're going to make this back to median point. Let's say we hit R and then X. As you see, it won't rotate from where it's supposed to. It'll rotate from the middle of these two things. Now let's change it to individual origins, R, X, X, and it will rotate where they originate from. So let's go back here, and we're gonna rotate the eyes up. So eyes, and we're gonna go. She's looking to the left. So R, X, X, and we're gonna go to the left. So we're gonna get the left up lip and the left mouth. We're gonna go. Oh, wait a second. And also, the left bottom lip, apparently. Left low lip. Here. There we go. And we're going to bring that back down a little bit because it's looking a little unnatural. And boom. We have a facial expression. So we're gonna hit C and we're gonna copy all of this. And the way to copy pose is exactly the same way you would copy text in a different program. So we're gonna hit Control C and that copies the pose. And we're gonna click here, and what we're also gonna do is come back here and reselect all of this. Boom, click all of them. Hit lock rotation, which locks the pose. Whenever you make a pose, you need to be doing that every single time when you're finished with them. That way, you know, whatever. So that way you can put their pose into Sim 4 Studio and then put that into the game. If you don't do it, it's not going to save. So we're going to go to pose, or obfuscate, I think is what it's called. Hit this. And go to pose library. And what that does is it saves all of your poses onto this one blend file. That way if you come back to it later and you want to add a little bit, you want to make a pose, but you need a specific facial expression and you don't want to have to remake the facial expression, you can save it in the blend files. We're going to hit new, and let's call it tutorial lab, and we're going to go hit at current pose to active pose library, add new, and it's going to be funny face, right? Hit copy and just make sure that I did it right. We're going to hit Control R and G, and we're going to save this under lock rotation. Now we're going to click this, which applies specific pose library pose to the rig, right? We're going to click it, it's going to go like that. You can also obviously copy and paste the pose, so we're going to hit Alt R and G and hit Control V. So 2 ways to reuse your own poses. We're going to hit Alt R and G, and we're going to save this new thing. So now that we've done that, I'm going to show you how to make your Sims sit the fuck down. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to scroll out. I already have the chair here. I didn't make a material for it and recycle, so we're going to do that very quickly. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Boom. So I'm going to make Aaliyah sit the fuck down in the chair. Now, what I recommend doing, if you're making like body poses, not just facial expression poses, but body poses, is to make quad view. Now, there's 2 ways to do quad view. There's with the actual quad view key, and I think you can do it in this here also. Where is it? There's a way to do it. If I can't find it, I'm not going to worry about it because I don't use it. Here you go. Are you ready? Toggle quad view. And it looks like this. The main issue with quad view is you can't rotate these other views. And also, you can't change how big they are. So I'm going to show you what I do when I want a quad view. Toggle that back off, and we're going to pull up right here. Oh fuck, oh fuck. Pull it down like that. Oh, like that. We're gonna pull this here, and then pull this in the center. And now what I do with quad view is, this one is the one I always move. This one's in the front. This one's on the right. No, this one's on the left, and this one's on the right. Just like that. That way, if I later want to rotate one of them, I can just rotate it without any penalties. And I won't feel guilty or anything about moving it. So yeah. So now we're going to make Aaliyah sit down. So the way to do this is, first we're going to change this from all the top to like that. And we're going to hit 1. It makes it go to front view. And we're going to click on root bind. Hit G, Z. And we're going to bring that all the way down to her butts on the chair. So, like that. Now, we can do this in 2 ways. I like to first rotate the pelvis area. So we're going to hit R, Z to rotate it slightly. How is she sitting in this chair? Let's say she's leaning back. So we're going to pull it like that. Slightly forward. And then we're going to get the feet. Because I told you before, I have the shit on the feet. The inverse kinematics on the feet, and it helps with moving all the bones. Now, what's going to happen is the calf and thigh joints are going to go a little crazy, and we're going to fix them. But for right now, they're gonna go a little crazy. Oh, so now you want to work right. Now you want to do what you're supposed to do because you're on fucking camera. Because usually, let's be a little bitch. So we're gonna hit G and then Z and move it up. Great. And now she's sitting down. It was so simple. And we're going to zoom out and kind of just adjust Aaliyah. We're just going to adjust her. Great. And now we're going to have her leaning forward a little bit. That way it looks like she's kind of, well, she's, yeah, she's going forward. Like, she's having like just the most rough of days and she just needs to, I don't know, fucking rest. And just curl inward like, Okay, now I'm done. I am so sorry that I stopped paying attention. Cause like, oh, this might be a cute little pose, and so I just started making it. But yeah, now Leah is sitting, and she's facial expression, and she's like, her fingers are posed and everything. So, voila. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something new if you didn't know something before. Hey guys, so really quickly before we end this video, I would like to say that as much as I enjoy this community and I love being able to create content and stuff like that, if you send me questions about helping you troubleshoot poses, I simply will not be able to do it. There's no like deep-seated like weird hatred for you guys or anything. It's simply the fact that I'm just inept at human conversation, that my social anxiety will go up so fucking fast that I would it would be impossible for me to help you. And do not take that as offensive at all. It's just how my brain works, and I am so sorry in advance. Thank you so much for watching. Follow, like, subscribe. Follow me on Tumblr. I make amazing shit posts. I occasionally post Sims content. Yeah, come vibe.